In this sublesson, we'll discuss considerations to make when preparing to share, and we're going to demonstrate how to share dashboards and reports. Okay, so to start with, sharing is one of the easiest ways to give people access to your dashboards and reports in the Power BI service. And you can share with people inside or outside of your organization. When you share a dashboard or report, the people you share it with can view it and interact with it, but they can't edit it. They can see the same data you see in the dashboard report and get access to the underlying data sets unless role-level security has been applied to the data sets. So we're going to show you some things that you can do to actually go ahead and get that configured. And any coworkers you share with can also share with their coworkers if you allow them to. And once again, in the actual configuration box, we're going to show you how to go ahead and allow that or disallow that. And then people outside your organization can view and interact with the dashboard report, but they can't share it themselves. All right, so I think this is actually some of the nicer features of Power BI is just how easy it is to distribute, share, and collaborate on your dashboards reports. So let's go ahead and show you how to go ahead and do this. Okay, so here in the actual dashboard, I'm going to click on this button at the very top of the dashboard here that says share. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And we are going to get a dialog box that opens up that is going to allow us to go ahead and configure how we want to do the sharing. Okay, so let's go and talk about some of the configuration properties here. So here in the first box where it says grant access to, we can enter email addresses for individuals, distribution groups, or security groups, but we cannot share with dynamic distribution lists. We can share with people whose addresses are outside the organization, but you will see a warning when that actually comes up. You do have the ability to add in a message if you want, so this is completely optional to actually explain to users what they're actually getting. And then down below here, we can actually configure some additional things, which I was talking about earlier. So we can allow recipients to share your dashboard out. So if you want to allow them to go ahead and share beyond your initial share, you can go ahead and do that. I prefer not to have that on myself, so I typically like to turn that off, but that is completely up to you and your circumstances. And what we can do here, we can also go down and say, do we want to allow recipients to build new content on underlying data sets? Once again, I prefer that people don't do this type of stuff, so I like to turn those things off. I'm a little bit of a fan of governing and controlling the distribution of this information to my users. If there's somebody that really wants this dashboard, I'd like them to come to me so that I can then go ahead and share that out to them, so I'm aware that it's actually going on. And then if they do want additional content being built on top of things, once again, I'd rather they come to me so that I can make sure that they're interpreting and understanding the data best possible. But once again, every circumstance is unique. Okay, so let's actually go ahead and set this up. I'm actually going to send this to a colleague of mine here. So I'm just going to go in and choose Jared McKenzie here. He's one of my work colleagues. And also, let's go ahead and choose an external email address here as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and type one in just to show you the alert warning that we're going to get. And we'll see that when I go ahead and add the email addresses in here, one of them is within my domain, so I'm okay. And the other one is outside, so I actually get the warning message letting me know that's actually happening. Okay, so now I'm just going to click share. And we'll see that the success message comes up letting me know that we've shared this particular dashboard out. Okay, so now if I want to get in and revoke sharing, what I can do here is click on this share icon once again, and now I can come over here to the Access tab. And now I'm going to see that I am the owner of this dashboard, and I've actually allowed Jared McKenzie to read and reshare. So when I went in and actually got his permission set up, I allowed him to do the resharing here. So I can go over here and I can say, maybe he's just now a reader, so I can remove it so he can do the resharing. Or maybe I just want to remove the access completely, and I can go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through and answer the questions here. Okay, so I'm actually going to go ahead and turn all these things on because I want to remove everything from this particular user, even though I do get that warning. So I'm going to go remove access, and now Jared has been removed away from access to that particular report. Okay, so we've seen that's all set up here, so I'm just going to go ahead and close that. And then just as a note, once people actually have content shared with them, on the left-hand side in the navigation pane, you will see this area here called Shared with Me. So once they go ahead and click on that link and get access into it, they will be able to click on this and get access to all of the content that has been shared with them in the past. Okay, so some really interesting things that you can go ahead and do with your dashboards and reports. So actually quite a few really interesting things that you can do here with sharing your information out. So let's actually go and show you where we can actually handle doing this on the actual report itself. So I showed you where to do it in the dashboard. So let's go over here to the report, and I can, at the very top of the report, click this share as well. So that will allow me to go ahead and share that report out. Or if you saw just a moment ago here in the actual My Workspace, when I hovered over top of the sales data mart, I actually had this share icon. So I can go ahead and click that and I'll get sent to the exact same dialog box. So all the same parameters that we mentioned around the dashboard hold true with the report. All right, so some very slick things you can do here with Power BI in terms of sharing and distribution. And that brings us to the end of this particular sublesson.